It's a great honour for me to be able to introduce you to the Vice-Chancellor of the University, Professor Andrew Hamilton. For those of you that don't come from this island, the Vice-Chancellor is the equivalent to the President or CEO of the university. Professor Hamilton is an internationally renowned chemistry scholar. He's previously served as the Provost of Yale, and he will, from 2016, be the President of NYU. He has an extremely illustrious reputation here and abroad, and so it's an immense pleasure for me to invite him to say a few words to you and welcome you all to Oxford. Vice-Chancellor.
Alex, thank you very much indeed. And I have to confess, ladies and gentlemen, it's a pretty pathetic Vice-Chancellor who is invited to welcome the members of this august conference to Oxford. And then he arrives just as you're all about to leave in the last plenary session. But forgive me for being late. I arrived back from the US this morning, and so I did want to have an opportunity just to welcome you all to Oxford and also to say how delighted we are that you are here and how delighted we are that this conference is taking place. You've had an opportunity over the last couple of days to be talking about many of the very significant challenges that the world faces, and we know that in many respects they're unprecedented humanitarian challenges. There are crises today in Syria, in Iraq, in Ukraine, in Central African Republic, in Mali, in Burundi. People forced to leave their homes because of conflict, persecution, and increasingly natural disasters related to climate change and other factors. And as a result, we are seeing, you have been discussing, the challenges of human suffering on an enormous scale. Nearly 60 million people are displaced around the world, more than at any time since the Second World War. And in this context, as you've been focusing on here in Oxford, in this context, it is absolutely critical, and indeed it is urgent, that new, creative, innovative ideas for tackling these immense problems are explored and identified. And there's no question that in seeking those innovative ideas, research has an incredibly important role to play. And here in Oxford, we are committed to developing a very serious and a comprehensive program of research and teaching that can respond, and respond quite quickly, to contemporary humanitarian challenges. But the one thing we do know is that universities cannot do this alone. We rely on partnerships. It requires us to connect our research to business, to government, to international organizations, to NGOs, to community-based organizations. We cannot and we will not stay in our ivory tower. We must and we will work collaboratively with others to make sure that the work that we do in partnership has a real impact. And so for these reasons, we are absolutely delighted that the University of Oxford is able to host the Humanitarian Innovation Conference in association with the World Humanitarian Summit. And it really represents an opportunity for the university to do something that actually it does very well, indeed all universities do very well, which is to act as a convening power, to act as a magnet, to bring together the most creative thinkers from across different sectors in order to improve the lives of those at risk and those suffering. And here in Oxford, the Refugee Studies Centre has for over 30 years been at the heart of the university's attempts to engage creatively with humanitarian challenges. Based on independent, interdisciplinary research, the Refugee Studies Centre has established itself as a world leader in many areas, but especially in the study of forced migration. The centre engages in research, in teaching, in outreach, and we are just thrilled that over the years it has been recognised in many ways, including the award of the Queen's Prize for Higher Education a few years ago. And now I'm delighted that under the leadership of its director, Alexander Betts, the Refugee Studies Centre is building an exciting programme of research adapted to meet the needs of these challenges in the 21st century. And this has been a special week for Alexander. I don't know if you've heard, but he was promoted to professor this week. So we are thrilled. And let me just say, what a week for the Refugee Studies Centre, because Alexander's predecessor, Professor Dawn Chatty, who many of you know, it was announced, I think, a day ago that Dawn had been elected to the British Academy, the highest achievement in the world of humanities and social sciences in the United Kingdom. And so we are thrilled that she has been recognised for all of her work, including her work in leading the Refugee Studies Centre. Now, your activities over these last 48 hours in Oxford represent this humanitarian innovation project, and this is a key part. The humanitarian innovation project is a key part of the work of the Refugee Studies Centre. It was created to explore the role of innovation, technology and business in humanitarian assistance, and its research has already had a very significant impact, particularly through collaborations with UNHCR, with OCHA, and the World Humanitarian Summit. And many of you in this audience will know its publications on refugee economies, refugee innovation, and humanitarian innovation, the state of the art. And these have contributed enormously to the literature of the field. And so for us, it's a real privilege to be hosting this conference, not for the first year, but now for the second year, to be welcoming all of you as part of the Humanitarian Innovation Conference. This activity truly encapsulates much of what we are seeking to achieve as a university. It is a gathering that is interdisciplinary, but built on partnership and striving very much to have a practical impact. And the conference, as the university, seeks to serve as a convening hub for creative thinkers across the humanitarian world. The theme of enabling innovation recognizes the importance of supporting creative problem solving at all levels in the humanitarian aid system, the humanitarian approaches. And that innovative and innovation developing strategy includes the nurturing of skills, of talents, and of aspirations of the affected communities themselves. And so, for me to stand here as the Vice-Chancellor, I stand here representing all of the University of Oxford, and it's our pleasure to welcome all of you. I know that more than 250 of you have come from all over the world to be here. You've come on 2 days of really quite delightful Oxford early summer weather. It won't surprise you, every day in Oxford is like this. We welcome the sun because we see it so often. But also to have you experience a little bit of the nature of Oxford through its colleges. And I know a number of you are staying in different colleges, but especially the focus here in Keble College and the important role that these communities play in the life of the university. I hope you've had a productive couple of days. I know you've still got a bit of work to do and some other presentations to listen to, but it's been our great pleasure to have you all here, and we will look forward to welcoming you all back for future humanitarian innovation conferences. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Vice-Chancellor. It's an absolute delight to have you here, and it means a lot to me as Director of the Refugee Studies Centre and for all of us on the Humanitarian Innovation Project to be part of this university and for all of you to be able to engage with the head of the university, and really the Vice-Chancellor is the President of the university, and so that recognition conferred on us means a huge deal. Thank you.